Now, let me tell you what today's topic is and why we're doing it. So online harassment, right? Let's stick to online harassment specifically in the context of Instagram. Okay, specifically in the context of Instagram, and it really doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, or any gender for that matter. Online harassment is when you get a message and you don't like that message, and you tell the person that you don't like the message and they persist. And if they persist and continue, this means that they are harassing you. Of course, there are other and this is a very, very simplistic way of looking at online harassment here. I'm not an expert or a psychologist or anything like that. So the other ways of harassing you online is, of course, by sending you images or sending you messages that make you feel uncomfortable or make you feel bullied. These include things like dick pics or, for example, sexually explicit pictures. All of those or even sometimes content, religious content even, that's meant to make you feel uncomfortable. Anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, which is also covered by community guidelines in Instagram, by the way, that's really important, that constitutes harassment. If you feel that you're not comfortable, that's harassment, okay? And you have a right. You have a right to tell the person who is sending you those pictures or those messages that I don't like what is happening here. Now, when you do this, when you tell a person, I don't like this picture or I don't like this message, the person who has sent it to you has one of two options. Okay, now they have one of two options. Their options are either to say to you, sorry, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry it made you feel uncomfortable. I'll stop. That's best case scenario. Okay. The second option is for the person to say, haha, just it's a joke. Haha, why don't you just accept it? Haha, it's nothing. Or this is what I feel like sending you. Now, this immediately tells you what sort of a person that you're dealing with. When you are faced with somebody telling you no, when you are faced with somebody saying to you, I can't do this, I'm not interested, this isn't me, this isn't my cup of tea, how difficult is it for you to be able to take that no, understand that it's not personal, understand that, the person is not saying you're a horrible person, they're not, they're saying they didn't like the action, okay, they don't like the action. Are you going to then stop doing that action, or are you going to continue? You need to think about that very, very carefully. And yes, that applies to every single one of you here who has said hi and then hello 2 seconds later, because, obviously I don't know the difference between hi and hello. I mean, what am I after all? I'm just a silly woman. So that includes highs and hellos. You got to be able to take a hint, mate. If you send a message to somebody and they don't want to respond, that is their right not to respond. It is not your right to continue being the person who forces a response out of this situation. That's not the way it works. If you think that that's the way it works, then you belong back in 1820. It's 2020. We're not going to put up with that shit anymore. Okay? And here's how you can deal with it if you have to deal with online harassment. Okay. So first things first, right? And this is the most important part. We'll get to whether you should or shouldn't at the end of it, because I've got a fairly important message to share with you. But let me tell you this. first thing that you need to know if you are serious about cutting out online harassment is to tell the person who has sent you the message or the picture, I don't like this. How many of you out there are willing to do that? Very good indication as to whether we'll be able to get a handle on online harassment or not. Because I hope I've come back online. There was a little bit of a pause due to bad connectivity. I hope everything's okay and back online at the moment. Hang on a second, let me just turn off the requests to go live because this is my session and nobody else is joining me on it. Okay, so here we go. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to be able to tell the person that you don't like their content that they've sent you. Now, in the case of sexually explicit content, or even things like dick pics, what you can do is, I know this might seem a little bit disgusting, but just, press and hold on the image, and then up will pop a little question mark. A little exclamation mark, which is probably the right response to such a picture anyway. And that exclamation mark is then your pathway to report that picture to Instagram. I've gone through this quite a few times before, okay? This question, great question, Nick. I will get to that. Do we really need to? Why not just block it? No, I'll get to that at the end of that. I'll absolutely get to that. I will not skip that question at all, okay? So you can report a particular comment or you can report a picture by pressing and holding, and up pops a little exclamation mark, and then that is then your pathway or the route to report that to Instagram. And generally Instagram takes action within 48 hours. I have had extremely, who are you? Nayak? Oh, Nayak, hello and goodbye. I believe I can get rid of you. I can... I can hide the live from you. So bye-bye, Nayak. I'm not interested in having you here anymore. Anybody else interested in stupid comments? Please keep them coming. I'd be happy to block you too. Okay, right, so, oh, that was fun. That was loads of fun. I'm going to keep doing that. Okay, so sorry if I'm a little bit distracted. Okay, I'm going to be looking out for people that I can do that to. This is awesome, man. Little props out to Darshana, who gave me this idea when I did my first live session. So Darshana, if you're out here, thank you for giving me the idea. That was awesome to be able to kick somebody off. Okay, fantastic. Let's see. Okay, so where were we? So you can report the image, right? Now, and then there's a very specific pathway that you need to go through with Instagram, and it goes step by step. Now, let me just say to you that at the moment, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, Instagram is slammed with lots and lots of reports on fake news. So they might take a little bit longer, or they might not pay too much heed to reports of sexual or of online harassment, but don't let that kind of get you down. The right thing to do is to report it anyway, if you can, if you want to, right? So go ahead and report it. If they don't get back to you in a timely fashion, that's okay. You need to know that these are unusual times. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, I had excellent success rate with Instagram. Every time I reported a comment or a picture to them, they would take down the picture or the account within 48 hours. Let me just go into something extremely important here. When you want to make a report, think about what it is that you're reporting, okay? Now, if somebody sends you a dick pic, the thing to do is to report the picture, not report the account. The account has done something wrong, but reporting the account doesn't really achieve as much as reporting the picture itself. Every time somebody sends me a dick pic or a bad message, a lot of women say to me, oh, who is this guy? Tell me who is so I can go and report him. Reporting him makes no difference because the content on his feed is clean-ish. You've seen them. They're all filled with God pictures and with baby pictures and with good morning, hi, hello, with flowers and all of that. Of course it's clean. They save their dick pics for the DMs. So there's no point in reporting the account. Report the specific comment. Report the specific picture. Now, on that note, here's a little tip on how you can report a specific comment. Now, if somebody sends you an I love you, for example, now that doesn't constitute harassment yet, okay? It's a stupid thing to do. We all know it. Some of them here are doing it here. Do I smoke? No, but I know how to block. So be chuki. You're going to be hidden from my live video. I love that. Awesome. Okay, 2 down, maybe about 100 more to go. Okay, let's keep going. So where was I? So you don't have to report the account, report the picture. Now, once you get a message like an I love you, for example, right? Remember, that's not harassment. But if you respond to the person and say, I'm not interested, and then they continue with a conversation, that constitutes harassment. Then what you do is then you report the subsequent comments, not the initial comment. Okay, because what you want to do is you want to be able to show to Instagram that you have already said I'm not interested, and yet they persist. Yet they persist. Yet they persist when you don't want them to is harassment. If there is no other message that you take back from today's session, please let it be that. If somebody persists on shoving their I love yous down your throat, that is harassment. Okay? All right, so that's the point to note with that. So, so you can obviously kind of do that with. Actually, you should report the comment. I know I'm talking about Instagram, but you can obviously report any sort of content or harassment on YouTube or Facebook. They all have their individual mechanisms. I'm not too familiar with them because I'm not very familiar with these platforms. I can tell you for Instagram, I'm really, really comfortable with the reporting procedure. I find it really easy and straightforward as well, and I find it extremely quick. Okay. How about you are hot? First message. Matsi3, that's a good question. You are hot is perhaps an observation. I agree, it's unwelcomed. So what you need to do is you need to be able to tell them, I don't like you saying this to me. It makes me feel uncomfortable. That's the most important part, right? You need to be able to tell that person, you make me feel uncomfortable. How they proceed from that point forward will very, very easily structure your report. Okay, if you tell them I'm not feeling comfortable and they persist, harassment. We're going to go back to this over and over and over again. Okay, now sometimes there's more serious types of harassment, right? Sometimes even if it's going to be, sometimes even you might think a dick pic is serious enough to lodge a report with the MCMC. Here in Malaysia, we have the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, which does a really good job in following up with online harassment, although they are fairly swamped and slammed themselves as well. We have a couple of different avenues. You can lodge a report with the MCMC, but as with lodging any sort of report, reports require evidence. And you need to be able to build this evidence. So you need to be able to take screenshots. You need to be able to take snapshots of what their profile page is. Of course, it's a long drawn process, right? It's not really easy to trace who these account holders are, but it is possible. Nobody is really anonymous online. If you think that hiding behind a little kind of cute profile name is going to, and your god pictures is going to save you, it won't. I mean, if people have the time and inclination and they want to find out where you are in the world, they can. So you can run, but you can't hide. So on that note, if you want to be able to lodge a police report, make sure and report with the authorities. So here in Malaysia, it's the MCMC. In India, I believe it's called Cybercrime India. They have a great website, cybercrime.gov.India, and you can report any sort of online crime, including harassment, and they have a separate section for crimes against women and children, online crimes against women and children, including child pornography. So you can go to the website, Cybercrime India, look them up if you live in India, and see what the reporting mechanism is. There's only so much I can do when it comes to giving you information, right? I can't hold your hand through this process. I can provide you with all the tools that you need and all the advice, and maybe try and give you a little bit of a boost of confidence. But at the end of the day, if you are serious about taking on online harassment, you need to equip yourself. And that includes going online and reading about resources, right? Right, Nina, what do you think about Oh, hello, Nina, darling. How are you? How's the little one at home? What do you think about teasing a person sarcastically or teasing a person sneakily in which causes them to feel discomfort? Does that account to harassment? Yeah, what you're talking about is bullying, because it comes back to this, right, Nina? If somebody makes you feel uncomfortable and you have already told them once, I don't like this, please stop, and they continue, that constitutes to me bullying and harassment. It comes back to this over and over and over again, right? You have said to somebody, no, not interested, don't want, stop, enough, and they don't listen to you. This is bullying, this is harassment, and I don't care who it comes from, whether it's from a friend, or whether it's from a stranger on the internet, or whether it's from a family member. To me, it's the same thing. Of course, online, your recourse is to be able to respond to them online. But if somebody is somebody you know is doing this repeatedly, you need to then perhaps get a third party involved, because you've already said no. If you really don't like this person, you could lodge a police report against them. Bullying is bullying. It doesn't matter who it comes from. Okay, hope that answers the question. Mina, you've got a question here. What about hate comments thrown in YouTube comments with fake profiles? Well, hate comments are hate comments. It's not exactly what we're talking about today. But obviously, if you want to report a hate comment, you should report a hate comment. You can do the same on Instagram as well. Fake profiles are abound. I mean, fake profiles were created for the very reason of being able to spread hate and spread harassment. Doesn't mean that they can't be found. It just makes it more difficult. Reporting them is always the first step. Okay, so remember, two things very, very important for you to remember, right? If you want to tackle online harassment, that's happening to you, first step, tell the person who has sent you the comment, I am not interested. Say no. If they persist, you have a choice of whether you want to report or not. And you can report. As I've said, it's easy enough to be able to do. Okay? Right. What I want to be able to do is I'm going to do a quick time check. We've been going for about 20 minutes now, and I think that's an excellent time for me to slide into see what you guys have done. So many of you slide into my DMs, and now I feel the need to slide into the questions as well. So let me go into the questions, and here are the questions that some of you sent with regards to here we go. Are you saying that only guys do all of these harassments and all women are good? No, mate, I'm saying people. People are nasty. People are nasty. But, if somebody sends me a dick pic, I'm assuming it's a man, unless it's a very, very creative, talented woman who perhaps has baked a chocolate brownie in the shape of a penis and sent it to me. Otherwise, if you've sent me a dick pic, it's a man. Okay, I hope that answers your question. All right. Next question. All right. And I think this is maybe something that was, I say, here we go, not all men. I can show hundreds of real women harassing men sexually. Why is nobody talking about that? Perhaps you need to find the Instagram session that's hashtag not all men. It's not that one here. I decided I don't really like you, mate, so off you go as well. Okay. Oh, wow. That's super easy. Okay, fantastic. That was loads of fun. Nikita, he's not here anymore. Sorry, darling. I sent him off to the Not All Men Instagram live forum, wherever that is. Good luck to him, as you say. Okay, let's go into the questions. I think this is a very, very popular question, right? This is something a lot of people ask. How do we tackle the question is how do we tackle women, but let me do how do we tackle people who shame us for standing up to bullies with remarks with you're replying them because you like the attention. Okay, in fact, people might say that you deserve the comment that you get because that you like the attention, and a lot of us have heard it, right? A lot of us have heard that speaking up equals to wanting attention. Here's my 2 cents on it, right? Whether you want to ignore or whether you want to block is completely your choice. Okay, it's completely your choice. I want to make the world a better place in my own small way, because I don't have billions and trillions of dollars like Bill Gates to throw into polio and vaccines and all of that. So this is my little contribution to the world. I want to be able to create a safe space for myself and for my followers to be able to talk about issues that matter without people like Palas asking me to smile, please. How about you fuck off, please, mate? Hide live video. Off you go. All right.